today I really plan for it to be a little less more informal. And just kind of really sharing, because I think the biggest piece, for all of us around mindset right now is just even having accountability. Because it's one thing to know the areas in which we're struggling, know what we need to do, set goals, but then who's there to hold us accountable? And, I know for myself, being on a team is a great way to do that. Not all of us are on teams. So I really want to be able to create this space for ourselves, for each other, to hold each other accountable to our goals and our actions, what we're doing to really move the needle in our business and in these challenging times. And we're lucky, I think, all to be a part of a brokerage who has such a focus on education and providing tools and resources. And so all of that is wonderful, and we have to implement in order to, create change and success in our business and in our lives. So again, we'll wait maybe a few more minutes. Thank you all for showing up, the three of you who've shown up this morning.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Of course. I've been, on my own journey this last little over a year, spending a lot of time and energy into my own, personal growth and development journey specific to mindset, because I think it's one of, if not the most powerful tool that we have, is to be able to reframe our own mindset, because it's tough, especially now in today's market. I think a lot of us are feeling the pressure, and that doubt and sometimes fear can creep in. And so we want to be able to provide tangible tools to work ourselves out of that, right? Because it can't take over. It just can't, or our business won't succeed, right? And the reality of it is, it's really almost as simple as what we're focusing on, right? Like if we allow those negative thoughts or the lack of clients that we're working with or whatever, whatever we focus on grows. I think we've all heard that phrase, but it's the truth. And so if there's that much, power in the things that we focus on, then we really have to make a fervent effort to be focusing on the things that are going to allow us to succeed, the positive thoughts and the positive habits and routines, all of the little things that add up, right? And I know we all hear this. I think we're probably all serial learners in terms of, seeking that personal growth and development. But we want to make it tangible. And so anyone have wins to share, struggles to share? If we don't have wins, do we have anything that I kind of wanted to make this almost like an open forum where we can really just workshop together kind of the things that are coming up for us? And does anyone have anything specific to share?
Well, honestly, I'm having some struggles, mostly just with prospecting, and sending out, gosh, I think I sent out about 1,000 texts, and I only got, I don't know, maybe a couple of responses. It was pretty frustrating.
Sure. And are you contacting like warm leads, people you have met before? Are these cold leads?
No, those are all just cold, just just throwing it out there. You know what? As far as wins go, I have been contacting just my database and reconnected with some good old buddies, so that's been good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. And so how is that going? How are those conversations going?
Great. They seem to be leading to business opportunities, not in real estate, but whatever, that's fine too.
Exactly. And that's what it is, right? Sales is the world that we're in, and sales is relationships. And so even though you're fostering those maybe more business relationships, they're going to turn into real estate transactions most likely in the future, because we do business with people we like, know, and trust. And if you can foster those relationships, even in a different arena than real estate, it's more likely than not going to come back around to help you out, in the future. They'll absolutely pay off. So I commend you for taking those action steps and reaching out, because the one thing a lot of people don't do is taking that action. So great job. What are you finding that's working the best for you in that regard?
No, really just going through my phone. I just started with the A's and started contacting my friends whose name started with A. And gosh, I'm only to the B's or C's, and I've uh, you know, had lunch and golf and things like that. So it's good. It's been nice to reconnect with these people.
Awesome. Awesome. Have you connected with or tried any, you mentioned texting. Do you mind sharing with the group what are you just texting individually? Are you using a software or a system to do that?
You know what? I'm
Like
texting my friends individually and, my sphere. And then I did the software. I actually did easy text and then I
okay.
downloaded, gosh, like, I don't know, 1,000 numbers and just blasted it out there. And I did not get much of a response from that. So that was the frustrating part. Is, it all costs money too, so you spend some money but don't get much return on it. That's frustrating. But I think I have enough friends and buddies and people from my past that's what I need to concentrate on.
Absolutely. That low hanging fruit.
Yep.
And it's free too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. And I know that, that's just kind of part of our entrepreneurial journey, right? Is pivoting and trying different tactics. So texting, try it. I've done this too in my business where I've tried so many different things. And once it got to the point where it in and of itself, for example, texting or, any funnel, any kind of lead funnel, when it becomes not profitable, meaning you're not getting the lead, and a lot of times it's really just, we all know it's one lead sometimes that can completely change or pay back the investment of that lead magnet. But we also have to sometimes pivot and say, well, maybe that's not the best use of our money or time or energy. And so I commend you for recognizing that and then shifting into, hey, let's just develop and foster the relationships that we already have, because that's the low hanging fruit. That's the easy stuff.
Yep.
What else? Just, I want to open this up to everyone. Like what are you doing currently that you feel like is working well? Anything? Don't be shy. I want this to definitely be like a sharing session. And say that 10 times fast. Sharing session. That way we can really share tools and resources, right?
How about you?
Sure. Can I actually ask you to move a little bit closer? Yeah, so we can get close to the mic.
What have you been doing that seems to be paying off?
I'm gonna let Carmen answer real quick, and then yes, I'm happy to share.
Back to the other question, like my struggle. I think I feel I've been checked out. Like it's just kind of got so slow that I just pretty much kind of completely checked out instead of what can I do?
Right.
And then from doing the switch with the brokerage, I'm kind of been stuck on like, what else do I need to do with that? So I haven't been following up with clients. I haven't been doing what I should be doing to continue the business. So that's my struggle right now, where I just feel kind of just a little checked out on the business side.
Sure. I know that, and thank you for sharing, Carmen. But I know that Carmen, just went through a brokerage change. So obviously there's quite a bit of admin that just has to be done there when you're using new systems and tools, and maybe even a little bit of process change in there for you as well.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a little now, like that, but I'm also not following up with nobody. I'm not doing anything with my business, and it's so slow and hearing.
sure. Yes, showing up for yourself.
And the accountability.
I love that. So when the dust settles, what is your next action step to getting back into your lead follow-up?
Connecting with past clients, like what he was saying, sending text message, and I've worked a little bit on my database. I am trying to make a list of like, okay, who am I going to contact first? Send out text message, send out a, little note. Thanksgiving is coming, so I'm kind of thinking like, what can I do for Thanksgiving to reconnect with those people? Just stuff like that.
Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. again, to your point too, with past clients, if I could go back to my baby self, my baby realtor self, and really just emphasize how much the nurturing of our current database, our friends, family, past clients, like we've all heard that, but I heard it too, and I don't think take it as seriously early enough on to take advantage of that low hanging fruit that we keep talking about. And so I commend you for focusing that, especially now with the holidays coming up. It's a great time. There's easy excuses to send out little goodies or drop off goodies, right? Or just connect, right? It's a time of connection. And hey, Josie's in the house. Woo! How are you?
Like I'm late.
No, you're good. Come on. We're really just okay. Yeah, we're just open foruming this to kind of share some ideas and great. Yeah. So connecting with past clients as soon as everything settles, focusing on that first and foremost. And besides like maybe drop-offs or, you know, sharing the love around the holidays with clients, what else do you do? Is there anything else that you do specifically that you found success in?
It's mainly just past clients, just touching past clients.
Okay. Can you all hear her okay? Bishop?
Barely.
Oh, okay. She was saying she doesn't pay for any leads at the moment, so it's really fostering the past clients and sphere of influence for sure. And I have to say that's been the same for myself. You know, I do have a few, which I need to share this with y'all, and I will after this, but there's quite a few of those websites. I also don't pay for any leads, but I have, for example, OpCity, which is part of Realtor.com, and HomeLight. They're both lead gens that they do offer leads. This year it's been much slower than it was last year, I'll be honest, but they do provide the lead for free. You just give them a portion of your commission at closing. And there's tons of different sites like that. I have a list I'll have to share with y'all that are a free way to get some leads. You know, you do have to work them. They're not always the best, but again, if you nurture, they can turn into transactions down the road. And I always remind myself, kind of speaking to mindset, you know, when I have, for example, worked maybe a lease lead that didn't, you know, quite pay as well, or was a little bit of a challenging transaction, you know, I always remind myself that it only takes that one transaction, you know, back to Bishop and your relationship building. It's that person is one day going to buy a home. And they're also, before that day comes, they have friends and family and people that they know that if you build that trust and rapport with, they're going to refer you to, right? And we also need to make sure that we're asking for referrals. You know, I think that's another thing I did not do for a long time, that just point blank asking, you know, for it in the form of either postcard or text message. So Bishop, while you're out there talking with everyone, make sure that you're asking for the referral, and Google reviews as well. You know, I think we forget to ask for that, and it's a big way that we can build our online presence and get referrals. What's going on with you, girl? I have the social media queen in the house.
Oh my goodness, I've been
Josie. I don't know if y'all been following Josie on Instagram. I have, and I think she's rocking it on social media. Doing a fantastic job. I know myself, you know, I'm trying to keep up with the social media game for sure. And Bishop, one thing to answer your question on like what's been working for me, I know that I've been getting so much more responses lately when I have been more educational in my postings and in my content. And I know Carlin touched on this at the meeting earlier this month, but I think especially now with the challenging market, it's what they need. You know, it's what they've always needed, but I think, you know, we've been so busy doing everything else the last few years. It's been, oh, post this sold, post this under contract. But are we actually getting on there and really explaining to them what these 2-1 buy downs mean and what the lenders are offering and incentives on new construction versus resale and all these things that we know because we pay attention to it every day. But I think we tend to forget that it's new to them. They don't. And so the simplest of postings can, you know, I earlier this year decided, okay, when I get a question from a client, I'm going to pause, even if it's in my car, super casual, going to answer, hey, like, I think I did a post about address blocks. Like I was in a new construction neighborhood and I used to work in new construction. So I know that the address block changes per builder. So that's how you can tell if a home is like different then I literally said that. It was like a 45-second, and people were like, what? Really? Oh my gosh. Like all these people who were looking at new construction. And then it was like, I don't recall if I actually got a lead specifically out of that, but it just got the conversations going. Oh, are you out looking at new construction? And it was the simplest thing. It was so silly, but it was super helpful and it got traction, right? Got attention. So don't forget, like it's we don't have to overcomplicate the social media game, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what have you, we've kind of been sharing, Josie, some wins and maybe some struggles. Do you have anything you want to share? And can you talk up because the mic's right here? We
Yeah,
want Bishop to hear.
And because of the rate, really that's what it is. Buyers falling through, or just sales falling through. You definitely have to work like 5 times harder. But it's really just like, it's preparing. I had one fall through because the lender on that side didn't prepare their buyer. And I'm on the listing side, you know, so it's like how I can only do so much.
Sure. Sure. So what, using that example, is there anything that you would have done differently?
I did everything on the listing side. I did the pre-approval. I spoke to the lender before we took the offer. I ran through all of my checklists. I started noticing something funny when, like on week 2, I didn't hear from the agent on the whole week. And just kept contacting them. On my side, you know, representing the seller, I try to do as much as I can, but it was on the buying side.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Right. And so just maybe staying on top. I mean, we always should be, right, contacting or reaching out to them to make sure that everything's looking good.
Yeah.
You know I have a closing next week where I just noticed their lender sent an updated title with everything and we still don't have the appraisal back. And so, I mean, there's not really anything I can do about that, but it's still on my radar to, hey, let's be every day checking.
Reaching out to the agent, I was like, hey, where are we on the appraisal? Where are we on this? Where, you know, how's the loan coming along? And I later down the road, I came to find out. I mean, he was telling me that everything was great. He told me the appraisal had been ordered. It was not, none of it was true.
Oh, wow. So the lender just lied to you essentially.
No, that was the agent.
Oh, the agent.
And the lender was in my name.
So sometimes we need to, even on the listing side, just be a little more engaged with, especially now, I'd say with the lenders directly.
Yeah, except for when the
Just-
lender doesn't respond.
Well, yeah, that's not helpful. And that's when,
It's one of
You
those
blow
rare
them up.
situations. But that goes to show, like, you know, when you are on the buyer side, you really have to, you've got to prepare, get all this stuff ready to go, and obviously work with the lender that communicates.
yeah,
Even if the agent does, and I've had it to where the agent won't communicate, but I'm communicating with the lender, and I'm like, that's good. This was just.
sure. Are you all finding that, and I haven't done this yet myself, but having the lenders like underwrite them before you even start shopping? Just to have that,
All my buyers.
yeah,
I've been doing that for years.
okay,
I have them, and then when I present an offer, I'm telling I will report with the other agent, and I'm telling them, my buyers have been through underwriting, like, we're solid, we're good, and I'm not just saying, hey, call my lender, I'm saying my lender can call you and answer all of your questions, so that we know how solid my buyer's offer is, and how solid they are.
sure. And then that lessens your days to close as well, right? Pretty significantly.
It does, and they like that.
Sure.
Sellers do. But that alone, that report and that, the buyers being so solid has gotten us under contract multiple times without my buyers having to be the highest.
Wow. So not necessarily the highest offer, but the loan terms were shorter
Yeah,
and more
the
secure.
that I have coming up did not, they did not offer the highest. We were up against just one other offer. But because of the report and the seriousness of my buyer's, loan, they got picked.
Wow.
So it's a little bit extra work, but it makes a difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been really shocked and I'm not trying to poo on anyone's party, as far as other agents and their work ethics or what they do in terms of their business, but I've been surprised to see kind of a lack of, I would say, a lack of care and concern. You know, I'm seeing descriptions on properties that are 2 sentences long. I mean, it's just, it says nothing about the home even itself. And it's just shocking to me how much that's not like being conveyed in terms of, and I'm sure you're seeing it then too, because you showed up, you called the agent, you were proactive about that. I'm sure that's what set you apart from all the other buyer's agents that maybe with, yeah, yeah, than just sending and crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, right? It's sometimes just the phone call, the outreach in and of itself is what ends up getting the deal done, right? Because it's that trust. As agents, as a listing agent, I for sure would lend to an agent who's proactive and who's communicative versus someone who isn't.
Yeah, it kind of gives that upper hand at least, you know, because just because you accept an offer doesn't mean you're gonna close,
Right,
right? It's like how engaged is this agent?
right, right. And the engagement of the agent lends to kind of the engagement of the buyer, right?
Yeah.
It's a direct correlation, I think. Beautiful. Beautiful. I know, you know, I guess I should ask, since I know this class is mindset, what, is there anything that's coming up in terms of, obviously just the struggles of, yes, the market is slower and things of that nature, but is there anything specifically that's like coming up for anyone? That we can like work through? I don't know, things like negative thought patterns or limiting beliefs, the things that are coming up. What's, if you could identify kind of what, and not that I want to highlight the struggle or highlight that, but just so we could kind of workshop through it. Is there anything that's Joe's like, no, I'm good.
I've been talking a lot.
I guess like what's coming up, I think for me it's really the fear how slow it is. I think I was also telling Josie how lately I've been running into a lot of my clients. Now, a lot of family members are realtors.
Mm,
So that's another thing where I'm like, okay, now there's more competition, you know? Or like I've had one where I was gonna list her house and she, you know, she called me, she was like, hey, just wanted to let you know, my cousin just became a realtor and like, and you know, she's family, so I have to use her. And you know, it's just like one of those things where you're like, so I think, yeah, to me, it's more the fear of how slow it is, and I know I have to work a little bit harder.
mhm. Sure. And I'd love to try and reframe that mindset on the, with, because I've been in that same situation where you have, yeah, their family member, we're talking about family members oftentimes are becoming agents. And so they've got someone, I mean, everybody knows 10 realtors, like that's just the reality of it, right? And so it's really, but I've also won the deal when there were family members or even siblings in some cases who were agents, because I built that relationship. And so I choose to focus on those, right? Those positive aspects and remember the times when I was actually able to win the deal or the transaction or the relationship over someone else that they considered close because I showed up, I educated, you know, I put the Courtney Spice on the on the transaction, and so I got it done for them. And so it's understanding too, like what they really are looking for, because that's the thing I know I've recognized in my clients, and what I'm trying to show up differently in getting more to the root of like how they want to be helped. Because you know, everyone, I think, looks at us differently. Like some people think we just unlock doors, other people want the education, other, you know, every client kind of is different, right? And they're looking for something different when it comes to our help. And so I'm trying to do a better job up front when I'm vetting the client on that first like discovery call or get to know you call, if it's over the phone or if it's in person, as to like really what's the motivation of their move or of their investment or whatever they're doing, and better understanding like what their expectations are. Because I think that's like the secret sauce, is that we glaze over it and we just do what we think we should be doing. And I think that's how we can win them over, is doing what they want us to be doing, not just assuming what they want us to be doing. Because I guarantee you, whoever that agent is who gets to that route and understands them and knows how they want to be shown up for, they are the ones who are going to win
Yeah.
the, you know, the business. And so, yeah.
I think it's important for me to say this out loud because I've said it to myself in my head, but it just, yeah, it feels different. It makes it more real. For me, it's the comeback, you know, you've known me and I was consistently closing. And I had our last baby and that was rough. Like he's a year now and it was rough. I'm like getting myself back into that mindset, like literally into that, like you can do anything and everything. There's no ceiling and there's no cap on how many closings you can have a month, but also the reality of the market has changed. It's a lot more challenging. And so that thought of like, well, there is a cap, right? Comes in my mind. There is only so much that you can close because it's a tough market. And then, but is that true? You know what I mean? So I'm wanting to get myself, this is like for me, and I'm calling it that. It's like, I want it to be my comeback. I want it to be to where, you know, I'm in that mindset again and I'm out there, you know, moving and closing. But it is different. It is a different market. That also doesn't mean that I can't.
Right. Because you have before. So why can't we do it again?
Yeah.
Right.
And I did it before this crazy COVID, you know, when it wasn't, you know, everybody was closing. It wasn't, you know, because COVID was like anybody and everybody was doing. And so I guess you reminded me, like I was able to do that before it was easy. When it was hard, you had to time block, be productive, and be, you know, all that stuff. Pull out all the guns.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But when I've been, and it's so easy, and that's how we get into that downward spiral, is because we get so focused on like our current present situation, right? Or state that we're dealing, or challenge or problem that we're dealing with. And we forget to like zoom out and remember that, wait, have I done this before? I have done this before. And so if I've done it before, why can't I repeat, rinse and repeat, right? You can do it. And it's just focusing on that. And it might not be to that degree. Yes. You know,
And I wasn't aware, but very recently I saw a video and it was a new agent and they were lead generating. And I don't remember which form of it, but they were lead generating. And because they didn't know that people will hang up on you and that people this, and they didn't know all that stuff. They were going into it with that mindset of like, I'm going to get this client.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
And we're going into it with, oh, they're going to say no, or they're not going to work with us, or, you know, they with the realtor, or whatever, or the rate. You know, we're already like, we're already making it a challenge for ourselves before we started.
Right. Right. To your point, to Josie's point, you know, a lot of times anyone new at sales or real estate, you know, newbies that come out the gate, they don't know, they're not jaded. Right. So they think the sky's the limit. They don't think about getting hung up on, or people aren't qualified or anything like that. They're just assuming the sale and assuming the relationship. And I think we need to get back to that. It was just like us as human beings, right? As adults, like we've lived life, we've had all these experiences, and
We've had those. We've had
right.
things. We've had it, just not in the. We just kind of think, oh, it's real estate. No, like we've had those in all other aspects of our lives.
Right. And it still worked
And we're
out.
still here.
Yeah, we're still here and people are still saying yes. And we're still helping people. For those who are ready and willing to show up, we are helping them. Right. And so that's where I really do think, you know, like Carlin said in the meeting, like education right now is just going to be the key. We do have to work harder than we were before, in the quicker markets, right, of 21 and 22 and 20. But it's just going to take, I think, that educational piece, because that's what's completely going to set us apart, I think. And just reminding ourselves every day that this isn't forever. And that's the truth of it. You know, this isn't forever. This is just temporary. And we just have to make it through these next, you know, I say few months because that's what I'm telling myself. I don't know if it could be 3, it could be a year, you know, who knows, but we're choosing to think positive, because that is what we can control, is our thoughts. And so we're going to choose.
Say it's a few months, and if it's a few months after that, well, it's just another few months.
Oh, trust me. I mean, y'all, I swore to, a couple of years ago, I was never gonna do leases again. Well, that changed because earlier this year, I didn't have closing. I gotta do what you gotta do. And so, but what I did do is this time around, taking leases, I went ahead because I learned early on, because I didn't vet them is the reality of it. So now I have a Google form with, okay, if I'm gonna take leasing clients, especially ones who are coming in from these sites where I have no idea who they are, I have a Google form that I have them fill out before I even get on a phone call. So that I understand where is their credit score, what's the dog situation or what's the past history situation? Like, give me all your stuff up front, right? And then that way we can, at least if I'm going to go out and shop with them, that I'm doing so, prepped and ready. And if there is an issue, we can catch it up front before I show them anything. Because, I was showing them properties and then finding out later, like they were lying to me about criminal history, or not criminal, but rental history stuff. Oh, oops, after we've seen 10 houses and put in an app, then it's all of a sudden, oh yeah, I guess I forgot about that one time. It's like, okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that eviction? Oh, I didn't think that was gonna come up. Like, oh my God. But yeah, so just adjusting there and going, okay, well, I don't want to be jaded or never do leases again. I might need to still do them, especially in these slower times, but how do I do it effectively? That isn't, doesn't efficiently, I should say.
Efficient, there you
yeah.
go.
Everything is efficient, be super efficient.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to share something as we're kind of talking about, making it through these times and being that we have to work a lot harder, a business coach of mine had always mentioned, automate, delegate, eliminate. When we're trying to kind of assess the parts of our business for max efficiency, right, is looking at those kind of 3 key areas. And whenever I feel like I'm kind of spinning my wheels, I always stop and kind of do a self evaluation in that regard to see, okay, what can I automate? What can I delegate and eliminate? And that's where I came up with the Google form to vet clients, right? Is how can I make sure that I'm not wasting an hour on the phone. I'm making sure that the right questions get answered. Because even sometimes I'd be on a call and even though I have a list of questions, I'd still forget, to ask one key piece. It happened with somebody. I showed them so many houses, and then what came up that was like the one question I forgot to ask on that hour-long phone call. And I'm like, seriously, how did I miss this? And so having that, then also it just makes sure that I'm asking all the right questions and I'm holding myself accountable in my process, right? So any adjustments that y'all have made? What's the biggest adjustment that you've made, I'd say, in the last couple months? Any area of your business? Time blocking? Absolutely. I think that's necessary for sure. And what's the most effective way that you've done that? Do you use like a calendar, a written calendar, an electronic?
Right. Deadline, everything else after, and so I'll time block. This should take me about 30 minutes. And this should take me about an hour, whatever, depends on the task, but I time block it.
Sure. And what are your topics of time blocking?
My topics?
Yeah. What's your time
Are
blocking
you ready?
subjects?
But yeah, I have urgent / deadlines. No, you're trying to.
Technology is not. Kidding, I'm reframing it. It is, I'm good at technology. I am so good at technology. Technology is.
There you go. Urgent and deadlines, follow-up, marketing. So that's include like a listing that I'm marketing or my content. I have my personal things that I need to take care of. I have systems, which includes like uploading my leads, home anniversaries, birthdays, and that's it.
Okay. So do you have admin time built in?
My systems?
Yeah, or systems? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like admin time? Okay. Great. I love that. I've been told her, she's like, I got it. Yeah, I really do think, time blocking, I have to say the same. For me, time blocking is like the only way that I get stuff done. And because I can squirrel very easily.
Well, it's the only way I'll be productive. I can be busy,
Right.
but are you being productive?
Exactly. Exactly. And then I sit there in the midst of the mayhem, right? And I'm going, oh, if only I had this in place, right? Like this email automation or this whatever in my CRM. And then in this last year, I really started to time block the admin or system side where, okay, then I in that moment, I go, you know what? I really need to create this. And then I put it on my create list. And then I have time blocked out, usually for me, Saturday mornings. And that's the time that I'm creating,
Yeah.
the thing. So it's like, so in the moment, it doesn't squirrel me into like, oh, let me start creating that right now, because
Yeah.
that's just what my brain
And all
wants
of
to
these
do.
things are, in these categories, they're things that I'm doing to prepare for my first quarter
Okay,
of 24.
okay,
But I'm just putting it in that category because instead of me putting it on the side and it being different things, whether it's a system or marketing or whatever, because marketing also goes into content, right? My content is also preparing me for the first quarter.
right,
My brain, I guess, just, it's easier this way.
sure. Sure. That's a great tip. Anyone else on systems or strategy changes that you've made? Bishop, we haven't heard from you in a minute.
Honestly, I really struggle with social media. So I've been trying to at least make a post here and there. And I don't know why it's so difficult for me. I just don't like doing it. But I guess that's kind of a win. I've at least been putting something out there, even though it hadn't been all that great of content. But anyway, whatever, it's my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, you don't have to overthink it or worry about it being super spectacular. I mean, it's easy for us because a lot of us who are agents, I know about y'all, but I follow a lot of other agents, right? And I follow agents who have teams of people who they hire to create these amazing looking videos. And I sit there and go, I catch myself wanting to, oh man, my videos don't look like that. But I also don't have a team, right? So it's cutting ourselves slack we have to show up for our audience in the way that we want to and trust that they're going to be attracted to us by whatever it is that we're presenting.
I would
And
say
letting
on
that be
social
enough.
media though, just start.
Just do.
If you even go into like influencers, and I would consider that, someone who's literally got millions of followers, right? If you look at that and you scroll, it takes a long time, but I've done this. And you scroll all the way down to the bottom, their videos are not good. But at some point they became better and better and better and better, and that's where they're at now. But just start. And for me, it was like, okay, I'm gonna purposely do this knowing I look dumb in front of the video or the camera and just get it over with.
Right.
And the ones that I thought I looked ridiculous were the ones that would get more engagement.
Of course. Right. Because you were probably more worried that you were actually showing up in the content, right? Probably, and that's what really spoke to them. Because ultimately, they didn't care if your hair
We
was up
think
or
we
down.
look dumb, but we're just being ourselves, and I think those people gravitate more. That's Courtney, hey, that's Bishop, like that's who, so when we start wanting to be an influencer or something, we kind of put ourselves in this role, like this mindset of like, I've got to look a certain way, and it's like, just be you.
Sure. Bishop, is there anything specifically when it comes to, is it just that you aren't posting? Is it that you're not sure what to post? What specifically is keeping you from posting?
I just don't like to do it. I just don't like to do it. But I know it's something I need to do, so I do it. Yeah, I don't even know why I have such a block about it. I just don't like seeing pictures of myself, and I don't like tooting my own horn, that type of thing. But whatever. It's kind of part of the job.
That's my struggle too. I don't like it. Push myself to it.
Sure. So have there been any maybe like topics of content or anything with social media that you all have done that you did like doing? Like whether you're on camera or not?
Content?
Mhm.
I know what you like.
What do I like to do?
You like doing video. You don't have to in front of the camera.
Yeah, I don't have to do fun. Yeah. Just video tours.
Video tours. Okay,
Yeah,
so
in
Carmen.
front of the camera.
Yeah, okay, so Carmen.
But then I don't like to talk. video.
You
Which
don't
is
have to.
nice
You
now
don't
that
have
they
to.
came up with that, where you can put like a voiceover. I love that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you can do
okay.
it. Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
You can
There
also
you
put
go.
an audio, you don't have to see anything at all, and just put the text.
Sure. Yeah, that's a workaround. Start doing more of those at least. Just do more home tours, at least to get out there, right? To
Yes.
get your following, get people engaged. And then in time, start to work on, slowly but surely, starting to get in front of the camera
Yeah.
and do the easy stuff, right? Yeah. I'm here, I'm not. I'm here. I'm here.
Just silly ones, where you're like hiding behind, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because I have noticed a direct correlation between referrals from my sphere and my postings on social. Because I also don't love it or think that I'm that great at it. So I will go, and then sometimes too, just the ebb and flow of life. Like 1 month, I'll have a lot of things that I'm out there doing. And so I'll just have more content to post. And then other months where I'm not as active, right? Or I'm on vacation, so I'm not doing maybe real estate related, but I still try to, even if I repost, I know this is not the
And you
best, but
can, yeah.
I reshare stuff all the time, even when it's not my face. I mean, ideally they do want to see you, so don't hide behind it by any means. But I also share, my team, we've got an Instagram that we run. I also follow a couple different accounts, title companies, independents, TNT, like their Instagram pages are fantastic for information so that you can promote and still be educating and providing value, but not necessarily having to create a freaking reel, because I don't know about y'all, but it takes me a ridiculous amount of time to make
Me
it
too.
keeps on your reel sometimes. And so I know, like, oh gosh, was that worth it? The hour?
You're like,
Done.
Done.
Yeah, she'll
I'm
be
like,
at lunch and I'll be
you
like,
just
let me just edit this
posted
video real quick.
that? Like, and I'm just like,
Yeah, so
But
easy.
it took me
But it
hours.
is, right?
hours and headaches, and it took me sleepless nights. Like it takes work. It does.
But now that you've put in the time to educate yourself and to practice doing it, it now becomes second nature to where you can do it within
Now
5
I'm much
minutes. on
faster.
lunch.
I know I'm not the best. There's no way I'm even near the best, but now I'm so much faster. Like I can get on my app, create a 15-second reel, 15 minutes maybe. I'm done.
what app do you use?
CapCut.
CapCut.
It's free. It's very user friendly. It's got all of the transitions and all of that popular stuff that you see, the trending stuff.
Mm.
It has it all on there.
And does CapCut provide like a template and then you just plug and play
It
your
can templates
videos?
too.
Okay.
But if you're trying to use like a trending audio, maybe that template might not match up with the audio. It
Okay.
doesn't always have to either. There's been a few audios where I'm like, in order for me to match up this audio to this template, I'm gonna sit here for about 40 minutes. And I'm like, I can't. So I'm like,
that.
and it's fun and it works.
Sure. And of course, Bishop does Reels, which I know is probably one of the most complex versions of content right now, that we can be doing. So again, maybe just getting back to basics and
So carousels
simplifying.
are really trending right now, and the algorithm's picking up on IG carousels. So basically what that is just a slide.
The slideshow.
It's just
Okay.
a slide. So it's like, 5 tips
I like slides.
for first-time homeowners, and go into Canva. Again, you gotta learn this stuff. Go into Canva, create, and I showed her how to do it on the templates, on the size, IG story. And then
So
just,
Canva has an IG story.
they have tons of
template.
templates, and don't make it complicated. You just pick one solid color. Don't look for something fancy. Just put your text in there, and you can grab this stuff from so many, like title companies, like you said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know I pay right now for Agent Create. I don't usually actually use it as much as I should. It's one of those things I should assess my business and go, it's worth the $25. But I like their like color theme, like just the theme, the look, I feel like matches what I want my brand to look like. That one, like I said, is called Agent Create, and they provide a bunch of stuff too. But again, with Canva with Canva amping up their game, I don't think it's even
And
necessary.
AI, we have AI.
Oh, yeah, now with AI.
Say 5 tips for first-time home buyers.
Right. That's the other thing. We've got to be using AI for our content creation. Like, give me 10 examples of postings that I can speak to, like the buyers in this market. Or
I created my listing description, which I guarantee would have taken me about an hour.
Oh, yeah.
With IG. I mean, with IG, with AI.
Oh, yeah. I did that too recently, and it was beautiful. It was like a whole story. Like, it was not the typical, Oh, yeah.
I had to take a few words out because I was like, okay, that doesn't even
Some of
sound
them-
like me, but.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta pick, I usually do it, enter it about 4 or 5 times and just pick only the sentences that stay true to me.
Sure. Yeah, I wrote one kind of in my own words and then asked it to kind of rephrase it. to like totally rewrote it, but
Like,
yeah.
no, say this
My
naturally.
sellers were like, oh my gosh, this is so great that you wrote, or whoever wrote this. I'm like, yeah, I had some help, but I did more or less and tweaked it. But yeah, I mean, AI is really going to change the game. I think all of us really have, besides just what it can create in terms of listing descriptions, but as you mentioned, actually telling you what to create content on. When we sit there and go, what should I do? What should I post? Don't waste the time. Just get on AI and ask, what should I do
Canva
posting on?
has AI in it integrated, and you can have it create Instagram reels for you.
It's wild. I haven't done that yet.
Serious.
That's for the paid
Yeah.
version.
The paid version's what, 25, 30? I have the paid version, I don't forget. I think it's $30, maybe. No, not
I don't
even.
pay that. I
It's 16.
maybe.
It's worth the
But
money.
it's worth it.
Whatever, all the subscriptions we have in this world, it is a Canva for sure. And I also believe you can schedule directly from Canva,
And you can schedule.
right, to
yes.
social media. So
Mhm.
realistically, if you time blocked 2 hours a week,
So
you
I
could probably-
content batch.
Okay.
I content batch, and I'll do about 3. And I'll sit there, my marketing, like I have it in here. Like it said, literally says reel with value and a hook. And I'll create 3. I'm giving myself an hour, right? Within that hour, however many I can create, probably realistically 3. And in that, I schedule it. So it's literally being sent out without me, and all of a sudden it's like, you have a new like on your reel. I'm like, what reel? Like, oh, it's one yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. I've got to get better at that myself.
Yeah, so it's not as, you have to, really the heavy load is learning all of this. You gotta sit down and learn Canva. I remember when I was using it and she was like, how do you? And I was like,
I'm still trying to.
let
learn
me
it.
learn too. I was learning at the same time.
Sure. And a lot of times too, for me, I try to not reinvent the wheel. I try to like create the template once in Canva. Like I have been using the same under contract or sold, kind of like
Yeah.
the same template. And yeah, over time, you do want to change it up, I'm sure at some point, but to make it easy on yourself, just keep
You
that same
go in,
template and just
Put in
swap
a
out the
picture,
photo,
that's it.
right? And the address, and
Yeah.
then call it good. You know, and I'd say Bishop too, like I was doing, if you are looking for what to post, even forget all the reels and all the Canva even, and literally just turn the camera around on yourself and answer a question. Say, hey, I just had this question. You can even say, you know, I get this question a lot, even if it was just one time. But you know, because usually it's a question a lot of the buyers or sellers have. It's questions that our clients are thinking, whether they're asking or not, and just say, hey, I've had this question and I wanted to address it here, right? Or answer. Here's the answer to that, right? Or whatever it is. And that in and of itself can be a minute long or less video of you addressing a need and then post it.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, you don't have to add any fancy graphics or anything. I mean, just literally doing that alone, I think is
And a lot of social media is trying, putting it out there and seeing what people engage. My people might engage in something different than what your people engage.
true. That's
So-
true. Consider your audience.
I was doing educational stuff and I really didn't get much engagement. And I do silly stuff and people are like, they ask me questions and I get leads. I have this one that this lead that I got from Instagram, like from Instagram it came. And she said, I know tons of realtors, but I knew that when I was gonna purchase a home, I was gonna have you represent me. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet and stuff. And then we had lunch and we talked and she's like, you're always posting stuff. And it really just made me, I could always just search you up, go to your page and be, hey, what's going on? Or what is she doing? Or just kind of be, I guess, up to speed. So a lot of it is just, it really is. If anything, don't worry on being educational or being this, just, you're just doing it to stay top of mind. You're doing it to stay top of mind. It's like when you go to Google and you want to be that first website that pops up. That's really what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they know tons of realtors, but who are they gonna?
Who do they see most often? Just be the one they see the most often.
It's the only thing else, whether it's your video tours or your education, whatever it is, but let it be you.
Yeah. Has that been helpful at all, Bishop? Giving you some ideas, maybe?
Sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My problem is just doing it. Like I don't have a problem figuring out what content or whatever. It's just the execution of doing it. I just don't like to. I gotta get over it.
Yeah, and schedule it probably. You know, I
Yeah.
started scheduling in the morning, like 8:30 to 9 in the morning is like my chunked social media time. That way I'm not all day long. Because what was happening for me is I wouldn't do that. And then during the day, midday, I'd caught up doing something else or showing, oh crap, I didn't, post about anything, or it's been a couple days or whatever. I would just let it go by because of course everything else takes priority. And so scheduling actual time blocks, okay, this is like social media time.
Yeah.
Even if sometimes I'm a rushed morning and I just share other people's posts, sometimes if that's all I can do that particular day, then cool, at least I got something out there and people are still looking at my stuff. They're on my story, they're on my page.
Yep.
So
I have to do
chunk-
the same thing. I have to put it on my to-do list or I won't do it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. That's a great opportunity to test that. Set
Yeah.
your some time aside and then let us know. We're gonna hold you accountable.
Okay. Fair enough.
What is your handle? Are you on Instagram? What's your social media preferred? Facebook, Instagram,
Gosh,
Google?
I think it's just Robert Bishop Badger on Facebook.
Okay, and then do you
and-
have like a realtor page on Facebook?
I do, but I never pay attention to that one. I just do the personal one.
Okay,
Now, I haven't used my business page in months because it really doesn't get much of anything. And all of my DMs from leads come through my personal.
yeah, I found the same. I've been debating just deleting my
I've
real
been
estate
too.
Facebook page because it's more
Especially because I
work
don't
for
even
me to
use,
do.
the only reason, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, I don't even use Facebook, and they're like, why are you on? And I was like, what? I was like, no, I don't. They're like, you're lying. I was like, no, what are you talking about? Because everything from IG syncs to Facebook.
Right.
So it looks like, which thank goodness, right? Because that helps me.
Right,
But, I don't really use. Made my messenger. That's.
sure. Yeah, I said the same. Now that I've linked the two, I just post it once on Instagram. It automatically goes to Facebook and I don't have to think about it. But then, yeah, I'm not on Facebook a lot, so. I don't have time to creep, okay? There's not enough time. I have barely enough time to post my own stuff, let alone look at what other people are doing. Okay, cool. All right, Bishop, so we'll next month when we meet, we'll hold you to the, what is your goal? What goal do you want to set for yourself in terms of improving your content creation or your,
Gosh, I'm trying to do at least 3 posts a week. Which is
Okay.
probably not all that aggressive.
No, that's.
hey, that's great. I
I
think
think even 2 is a start.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. So where do we want to, we've kind of talked about some wins and some struggles. What do we want to, let's kind of future pace ourselves. What do we want to accomplish in the next 30 days? What specifically?
The next 30 days.
Mhm.
The next 30 days, I am going to, I'm calling it, I'm going to complete my marketing calendar. And that means the follow-ups with my past clients, the home anniversaries, the birthdays.
And so you're going to complete your marketing calendar for 1 month out?
I'd say the first, what's realistic, the first quarter, first half of the year. Let's see what's realistic, because I also don't want to. I think the first quarter, once I get the first quarter, I could just repeat that throughout the other quarters.
Okay, so are these all things that you can automate?
I mean, not all of them, but, because I'm not gonna automate me calling them, but, it's to where I want it to have it, to where like, how often are you gonna be calling them? How often are you gonna be?
Like deciding what that
Right,
looks like?
Yeah, so the
Okay,
calendar, that's what I mean, I'm
Okay,
gonna create
okay.
that calendar.
okay, so it's like your outline of, that way
Yeah.
too, monthly or weekly, you can like dial it in and know exactly what you're supposed to be doing that week or that month
Yeah,
based on what your pre-planned calendar.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, so finishing your marketing calendar for Q1. Perfect. Carmen?
I think for me is checking back in, but putting down my time block, like actually following it. And coming up with a new one. Like I said, I feel like I'm completely, like, I was completely checked out, so.
Sure.
I just need to get back into it, check back in.
Okay. check it.
So mine is, coming up with the time block again. So I'll have that,
Okay.
and then post 4 times a week.
Yeah, because we'll meet, I'll find the date, but I know we're meeting again, hopefully here in November and just a couple weeks before. We might do, what do y'all think? Before Thanksgiving or maybe first week of December, like between? Probably before, yeah. It's gonna be crazy after that. Okay. I'll talk to Carlin because I think we already put a date on the calendar, but I'm forgetting at the moment which date that is, so I'll let y'all know. But we've got a couple of weeks, probably 3 weeks max, we can dial this in and really get this all in place. And then Bishop, do you have anything else besides your 3 posts a week? Anything else that we can hold you accountable to?
I'm gonna try and talk to 400 of my friends in the next 30 days.
Woo!
Wow.
All right.
Remember,
I love it. Up to 400 friends in next 30 days.
no, not-
Or at least send them a text.
Okay,
I don't know
sure.
if I'll have, but
Reach
anyway,
out. Just reach out. Yeah. Doesn't have to be an hour-long conversation, but like just a reach out, touch base, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Trying to think of mine, what y'all can hold me accountable to. So much. I think I'm actually gonna kind of piggyback off y'all and the postings. It's definitely been, I've been like better this last week, but really if I look back before that, it's probably been really since July, since I've been actively like really focusing on my content. And so I'm gonna do that as well.
Be specific. What are you specifically gonna do?
I'm going to do one home tour. So we need to break it down to exactly what, I mean, I need to be doing 3 to 4 per week minimum. Home tours are an easy way to do that, just educational
That's
pieces.
enough. I mean, I can totally, because I'm doing content too all the time, and I've done it with her. Well, we'll go and we'll go visit as many houses as we can. And I could get probably like realistically about 10 to 15 reels with that. 3 home tours, and then in those home tours, you make little 5 to 10 second B reels. With text, doesn't even need your face right there.
Yeah, I love that.
So
And
how
does-
many are you gonna post, and how many are you going to, like, how many are you gonna post a week?
Of just home tours? I mean, I feel like right now one's probably realistic.
Yeah.
One home tour a week, and then I want to do at least one educational piece. Like just one speaking to rates, maybe doing an interview with a lender or with someone,
Yeah.
your expert, or even just sharing another article and then talking about it. I think that's huge as well. I've seen so many agents doing that, especially really breaking down like the changes in interest rate and like the breakdowns of what that payment difference looks like if they're able to either get concessions or rate buy downs. And so I think that's huge to really speak to buyers right now to get more, because we need more buyers in the market. Whether we work with buyers or we have listings that we need buyers for, we need more buyers. Empowered and educated buyers specifically. So yeah, one educational piece a week, and then one, I'll just say one funny or one.
That's what I have, or me, like just
Yeah.
anything.
And just make it, I guess, it doesn't need to be that specific, because you could put 3, right? And you could try to make it one of those, but what happens if it's not a funny one and it's something else? You know what I mean? I think the point is just doing it.
Right, have some flexibility with it for sure. Yeah. I've let go of the days where I not micromanage, but held myself like to too hard of a standard, and it was like, okay, girl, give yourself a break. Like
They used to micromanage, and
you have it.
after having 4 kids,
Right.
they micromanage.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's really kind of all I had in mind today. I wanted to go over again, like some of our struggles, our wins, share some tools and resources, talk about future pacing, like what our goals are for the next 30 days, and then being able to hold each other accountable to that, right? And we can even be, I'll probably send y'all a message on social before then. just to
Do
check
it.
in, see
Check
how
it
you're
in, like,
doing.
I mean, for me, do it once a week if you can.
Sure.
Hold me, I'm telling you, hold me accountable.
Yes, let's do it. We can be our own little accountability group right here.
Yeah.
Cause I think that's key. Like that, I don't know about y'all, but that's what helps me move the needle.
So
Like,
I'm gonna add something to this, because
Sure.
I've been a little bit down on my content, so I'm gonna do 3, put me down for 3 a week.
okay,
Whether it's posts or reels.
okay. And I know Josie's on Instagram. Are you on Instagram? Okay. And then Bishop, are you just on Facebook?
No, I'm on Instagram too.
On Instagram too. Okay, so we're all on Instagram. Cool. Which if we're on Instagram, I'm assuming we're on Facebook. Cool. Yeah, I think I am gonna probably leave my professional page up, but it's just everything's going from my Instagram realtor page goes directly to my personal Facebook page. So, and like you said, I've got more engagement there. And then too, it's like friends and family who are just proud of our success, right? That you've got commenting and liking on all that. So, yeah, important to have. Okay, cool. Well, is there anything else that you all want like some help with or things you'd like to? I mean, again, this is kind of open forum, so we can kind of,
I think right now, the accountability would be, it's gonna be big for me.
yeah,
Check back in.
sure, we'll do that. And then if there's anything new that's coming up that you know needs to be done, let's just set a new goal, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's get after it, guys. I'm very excited.
Thank you,
so
Courtney.
much. Thank you so much for showing up. And I'll send out the dates for the next mindset. Will be a little more structured with that class. Thanks for bearing with me today. I've had a lot going on, so it wasn't quite as planned as I would have liked, but next time, I promise we will have a little more structure and we'll be going over some goal induction. So really, please, as your homework, besides the accountability piece of the social media, it seems for all of us, let's seriously be planning, like, what are our goals for 2024? Like our big picture goals. Like, yes, specifics, but like, how are we making 2024 different than all of the other years? Right? And let's like get our minds really wrapped around what that is, because I have a really fun exercise to basically implant those goals into our future timeline. And it's very, very powerful. It has been for me. And so I want to be able to share that with y'all. And so let's get super clear on what our goals are and we can go over those next time. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Goodbye.